Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. For the listener, this particular event has men attending. They're in the back. They are supportive of what is taking place here. So it is a different kind of meeting where the men are here for a little while and then they exit in honor of the women's meeting that would follow. It's a microcosm, you might say, of what we teach. It's almost a milestone for what you teach and what I teach. Dear ones, it would be fair to return to Lemuria at this time in your minds, men included. Lemuria was made up of a society that respected each other in a gender that made sense. In a gender that made sense. If you went and listened to the last instructions of last week, I was telling you that the remembrance of what you did and who you were in a Lemurian setting really truly was not the goal. Instead, the remembrance was how you're wired. The remembrance is not how you're treated or what others think you are, but who you truly are. And that goes for both genders. And that's the beauty. For there truly was a balance of responsibility. So let us speak of it yet again. A society that was learning about God, with Pleiadian teachers who would then give instructions on life. And the teachers, those that were the ones to teach on Lemuria, were female. And the ones who got the instructions were female. Let's talk about the men. A balanced society. Men are wired to protect at all costs, to supply at all costs, to defend the women and the children at all costs, to stand between you ladies and the Bengal tiger at all costs, to be the one that protects the family so that the family can exist, so that the women can give the guidance. Think of a society where that which is responsible knows it's responsible, where the roles of the genders were absolutely respected. We have said this before, but the men are present now to echo this, that in their Akash, if they were on Lemuria, was a remembrance of you, ladies, an absolute understanding and knowledge that females were built and wired for connection, life connection. There was no question. If there was a puzzle about what to do for the group, for the society, for the island, for the little continent itself, women would get together from all over, accompanied by the men for protection from the elements. The children were often brought along. The meeting would be assembled. The men would back away. This is because it was absolutely understood that women were wired for intuition. Even today, Even in the society that may be dysfunctional, there is the acknowledgement, the phrase, women's intuition. It's still there. The men understood it. They respected it. They called upon the women for guidance spiritually. Today, this is still the case in some indigenous. They never lost the instructions. But I will tell you, women, you would never have been able to do what you did without the other gender appreciating it, asking for it, supporting it, leading you there, helping you there, feeding you as you went, protecting you, so that you could do this which now you respect and honor and are capturing yet again. The unity of it, the balance of it, is what we celebrate right now. And this, dear ladies, is what you celebrate in the sisterhood, is a return to the balance. That's what we said last time. That you return to an acknowledgement and a remembrance that this is what you're wired for. Not a remembrance of something that happened that you're supposed to rekindle. It's a remembrance of who you are and what you do. This goes for the men and will occur to them as they also remember in the future how good it was to trust you with decisions that you're built for, you're wired for. There'll come a time when society softens up a bit more, when there perhaps would be a spiritual group started where women were always the ones who gave the spiritual advice. This would grow because it worked, because it was soft. Gone would be the days when you would have and expect just one gender to lead the way in a spiritual way or organization or church. And it would be the women who would be seen as the ones that did a better job naturally. You see, they're wired for it. The men who are here, who agreed to be here right this minute, are seated in a way that have your back. And that is significant because that is who they are. Dear ones, this was the balanced society that you're remembering. We turn to the sisterhood, for the women are the ones who have to rekindle this first. And as you do and show this wisdom, the men will follow along, for they will remember also why they protected you, what it was about, and what a balance is that is spiritual within a society. Lemuria was what they call a one-off. Never occurred before and never occurred again. It was the breeding ground for the Akash. It was the launching place for the teaching that was original on the planet. And why it was special above the other places that were also involved is that it was an island. And that through the ages, it was sequestered, never changed. So, dear ones, you are part of that. Or perhaps you feel like you are part of that. Over a long period of time, you all could be part of that. Not necessarily together in one place or 1 year, but scattered over time, you would have had the same experience from the same teachers. For lifespan was not an issue with the Pleiadian. So can you rekindle this? Is this something that is believable to you? Can you suspend everything you have been told and feel it? You see, it is in the Akash. There is a great deal there. You see, the Akash remembers Like the crystalline grid of the planet, it is stamped with the memories that you have from the beginning. Don't let the specter of a long time frame from there to here make you believe that you're going to try harder to remember it because it was too far ago. It doesn't work that way. The Akash is would you call it a quantum energy? It's not quite that way. The word is used incorrectly. It's a layered, multidimensional remembering system. It is nonlinear. Therefore, it has nothing to do with time and everything to do with significance and emotion. It's time to start remembering, as though it were yesterday, how that felt, what it was like to be balanced, and what you did there. That's what the meeting is. We celebrate the gender balance that is here today. Let the meeting begin. I have given you many channels about Lemuria. Perhaps as many has ever been given on the planet about the workings of a beginning society. And the only reason that these are given as they are is to put you back there in remembrance. I've told you how things work. I've given you an idea of what you did. Even the details of birthing, meeting of the elders, celebrations, birthdays. And tonight I don't want to do any of that. Let this be a vacation from history. And instead, I want you to concentrate today on a message of love for me. If you could today celebrate the womanhood that is here, if I could wave some kind of magic conscious wand in the room to every single woman in the room, it would be one that would alert your DNA. Alert your DNA. who you are and the design of who you are. I want to tell you about the design of the genders. This is from the creative source. The design of the genders is not for procreation. That's a side effect. The design of the genders is specific for communication with spirit. Dear ones, the males were designed to face the Bengal tiger, to protect you and your children, to bring home the food. The bigger body, the stronger one, the one that's alert and will wake up in the middle of the night as they hear things in order to protect you and your children. That was the design. The design of the female, so specific, was the creation of life and the wisdom and the knowledge of how to take care of it. And then to have that intuitiveness, the gentleness, the beauty that the male did not have or recognize in order to that job of leading the rest to spirit. That's the avenue you were given. That is the design. That is the beauty of the feminine. And it always was. The original design has you in a place of communication with spirit first, between the genders, first. And the man who is protecting you from the Bengal tiger and bringing home the food counts on that. It doesn't compete with it, because that's the design. And today, the design is as accurate as then. How many of you are aware of the design and think of yourselves right now in modern society as having that? You may not think you do. In the places that you are, in the families that you are, in the workplace that you are, you may not experience it that way. But I'll tell you, that's the design. And that has not changed. This small little channel is one that says, dear ladies, dear women of this planet, as you walk upon this, not about who you were, it's about today. Can you pick up the mantle of the design? And in that you carry wisdom and maturity. You don't carry a bundle of energy or emotion that wants to fight the world against what you see. Instead, the mastery of the design starts to come through you. You feel the wisdom. You know what to say. And those around you feel the mother energy, even if you're not a mother. They feel it, because that's the design. I want to tell you something. If that's the design, then why don't you take it another step and claim it? But beyond that, why don't you use the metaphor of a temple? I want you to create your temple based upon the design that's still there. It's so perfect. And the fact that you sit in the circle and you may ask yourselves, why am I here? What are they going to do? Everything that is done from this moment on, this day, is to celebrate the design. And when you start that, what happens is wisdom and maturity of purpose. You become greater than the design. You add upon the design, pulling upon that which is your Akash from the ancient past. But you don't have to do that a lot, because it's built in. It's still there. What is your attitude about this? Will it be different when you leave the room? Will you claim something you didn't think you came in with to the extent you came in with it? Will it be enhanced? That's the purpose of the meeting. It is the enhancement and the evolvement of the design of shamanship. You are in touch with the Creator first, between the genders. Has it been lost? Of course. Will it return? Well, now that depends on those who claim the design. And that's you. Dear ladies, you're going to win over the world. Not by force, but by love, the temple you have, the wisdom, and it will be seen. It will be seen. And that's the promise. Mastery is very attractive. Very attractive. And that's who you are. I want you to claim the temple tonight and proceed as shamans that you are and think about the design. It hasn't changed. That's still who you are. Dear ones, this is not an accident. Because what you're sensing is that from the creative source. Incredible love for you. And so the messages are plenty. And they talk about a new time. A new time where humanity is beginning to sense itself in such a different way. And you would say, how is it that you could live an entire life and not see certain things about yourself? And is it really true that you could do it today and not before? And that is the theme. That is the theme. The theme is old versus new energy on the planet, and the gifts and the tools that humans have with themselves, sensing themselves, being able to help themselves in ways today they could not do yesterday. And so the premise is this, that old souls on this planet, such as you, right now, will have that which is on the planet behind you, supporting you, that you never had before. I want to give you a message about the Akash. Now, the Akash has been called that which is the record of who you have been on the planet, all you have done, the emotions that you have had, the genders that you have had, that which you've learned, that which you've experienced. That is the Akash. You could imagine, with such a variety of things to sense and feel from the past, what is it that you're going to sense and feel the most? And although I've talked about this before, we're going to give you a little metaphor. It's about the farmer. This farmer is in the old energy. It is a metaphor about the Akash. The seeds that the farmer plants are that which is the memories and the experiences that are good, that are profound, because these are the ones he wishes to have grow. He's not interested in the other ones. They lurk there. They're there too, but he knows he just wants the good stuff. He waters them accordingly. But in the old energy, the planet's Earth itself is not cooperative necessarily with his consciousness. For in the old energy, the light and dark ratio is not good. More darkness than light. Hard to grow plants, especially positive ones. And then it happens. Out come the bugs. And no matter what he does, it seems like that which is the negative side comes out. The bugs are there, eating that which is profoundly good. Year after year, this is his task. Until one day someone says, "And what do you do for a living?" And he says, "Bug control." It's a dawn of a new day. The energy is far, far different. And out comes the farmer. He inserts the seeds. And the first thing he notices is they sprout up like never before. He's not seeming to do anything different. It seems like the soil itself has changed. And they're beautiful. They grow far faster. He's ready for the bugs because that's all he's done all his life. And with a more robust plant, there'll probably be more bugs to eat it. And he waits and he waits. And he realizes they're not coming. Something has changed. The very earth itself is the insecticide. The energy of the dirt itself will not permit those bugs to be there. And soon he sees a crop of the good things that he has planted coming to fruition. This is the story today of your Akash. It is being taught. It is being sensed. I am not the only one to tell you this. Dear ones, I will tell you this, that when it comes to your Akashic record in the old energy, you were doing bug control. For the good things never surfaced. And the things that affected you were always the negative parts, the parts that you had to stop and forgive and rewrite and reframe. We've given you many channels about the fact that you don't need these anymore. They serve no purpose. And in the new energy, they don't belong in you anymore. What is it that you've been doing lately that would allow them to remain? Have you assigned a self-worth issue to yourself which is low? And if you have, here they come. Here come the bugs. But dear ones, I want to tell you, they don't have to be here ever again. For what has happened is this: a shift in the energy that has taken place before and after 2012 with you personally has given you a new soil that not is only resistant to the negative things, doesn't want them to raise their heads in your life. Whatever you've sensed in the past, including this lifetime, does not have to be yours. It's not yours to own anymore. The things that are going to pop up, if you allow them to, are only positive. Your Akashic record is going to start feeding you, finally, the things you deserve. The good experiences you've had, how it feels to be joyful. Are you listening? I know who's here. How to rekindle the inner child. How to smile when you get up out of that sleep in the morning instead of dreading the day. That's been mentioned. It is built in to the old soul and the new energy. If you'll allow it, it is built in that these things in your Akashic record will begin to serve you. I gave a channel years ago, so old it was published on cassettes. And the title was Past Lives, Present Fears. And now I'm going to rewrite it, because that was then, and this is now. Past life, future promise is where it's going now. Get ready to pull upon your Akash only the things that help you reframe your life. What's in there is profound. Everything that you have learned to make things work for you and happen for you. The good things. Not just the training, not just who you were, not just the health you had. But dear ones, what it's felt like to celebrate, to be happy with your life. The joy. It was all there. There are those who said, well, now I had some really tough times in my past life. I'm not even sure there were good lives there. You've just instructed your Akash to give you bugs. Do you see how this is working? You're in charge. And if you really doubt it, why don't you say this? In my Akash, I give you instructions only to give me experiences until I was 6. Because those were the great times. That's when the child was out. That's when you were laughing. That's when you enjoyed life. Forget everything from 6 on, in every lifetime, if you wish. And dance around, if you wish, then. Because that's what you're going to get. The joy of a child without the burdens of the adult. It's time you recaptured that. Oh, it's infectious. Laughter, joy, fun, and the lack of worry is what you deserve. Many of you will start realizing, well, it doesn't have to be just 6 and before, because now you're in control of the bugs. And those things that troubled you before, that were difficult before, that gave you that, now you call lack of self-worth, is going to vanish. You're going to start receiving information from your own soul, from your own DNA. That's where the Akash is. That starts to then amplify your magnificence. Make you proud that you are an old soul. That you can stand up and say, this is what we waited for. This is the light. Let's go for it. This is a metaphor about the gardener, about the farmer. But it's no metaphor about the energy. Because that's what's happening now. As you leave this place, and someone says, well, what did Kryon talk about? Don't say bugs. I want you to say choice. The choice to stay healthy, the choice to be joyful, the choice not to worry, the choice to get out of fear, the choice that says, don't let the little things bother you. You're going to live a long time, dear ones, if you can get this. And I'll say it again. The wind is at your back, even though you may be going through some reframing times. Eventually, the balance will be in the light. I know who's here. I know who's listening. Some of you have already felt it. You translate that to my partner. When you can, you say, I was worried then, I'm not now. This is what has happened. You were right. You were right. And all it took was for you to believe it, to understand it, to feel it, to sense it. And that is what the channeler gives you today. We sit side by side. She is about to teach it tomorrow. It's germane. It is important. It's for now. Congratulations for a time you never thought would come. You might write that down, because if it's not you today, it will be later. And you will see what choice is about. I am Kryon, in love with humanity. And so it is.